Thank you, Geoff. And I have to confess that I fully agree with what you just said. Welcome everyone to this session. I'm Alex, Customer Success Manager at Intuiface, and I'm going to show you how to create an interface-based product to pursue a market and, of course, make money out of it. To start, I really wanted to remind you the description of this session. Not every project should be bespoke. In fact, creating a repeatable interface-based product is a sales accelerant and a shortcut to profit. That's the trick. Here we use the word product, but it can be called a template, a reference design, a framework, or an app. And as it's interface-based, to make it clear, it will always start with an experience. Of course, it can be more. It can be a set of experiences, a bundle with other assets, added services, etc. Good. Now let's begin by looking at the various productization options available to you with Intuiface. We creatively called it productization model. Oh, and it's so easy to pronounce. Creating a product with Intuiface is not black or white. There is a full continuum of possibilities from a fully bespoke project to an off-the-shelf or ready-to-use solution. To start, you can create a bespoke project using pre-existing or pre-built design components, such as design accelerators. Of course, creating a bespoke project with Intuiface is far more economical, efficient than without Intuiface, but you know that already. Moving further up the scale, you can focus on a specific project topic, such as tourism attraction board or retail industry, and these are only examples. Using a generic interface asset with custom implementation, recurring templates, or a structured Excel database, such as in the case of a product catalog. This project can share and reuse the same interface workflows like scenes and navigations. For example, an experience for a car dealership representing brand A has a fair chance to be reusable for an experience for brand B. Also, as noted about the midsummer interface release, Intuiface's headless CMS will make such parameterization far more simple. This leads us finally to the far part of the scale, the off-the-shelf ready-to-use solution. One good example being the entrance flow management experience we have built with Nexmosphere, or the face mask detection with Sitecorp, as we will see later in this session. The opportunity to create a product with Intuiface can be triggered in two different contexts. First, there is the top-down approach, triggered by the good idea, or product dream, or a business opportunity, whatever you call it. It's a byproduct of your brain fueled by discussion, observations, reading, etc. You have a great idea for a solution for the market you want to address. Then you decide the variability of the solution you want or need to address that market, like will each client have very different needs or not? Will the solution have to integrate with very different systems or not? And finally, you decide on a level to start from the productization scale we saw previously. The second approach is about deriving a product from a project you're already creating or have created for one of your clients. The business opportunity exists because you already have a client. So to start, you believe that what you have built also matches the needs of many or other potential clients in the same industry with the same job or function. Then you select the interface productization level you want to achieve. And finally, you either modify your client's project to get to that level, or you ensure your client's project is delivered with an interface architecture matching that level. Either way, this will most likely require additional investment on your side. And by the way, during that process, make sure any intellectual property issues like who owns what are cleared with your initial client. So why use Intuiface to build a product? First, it can be completed by a single person. Interface assets aside, you won't need a full team with developers. It permits rapid cycles of experimenting, creating proof of concept, and testing. It accommodates agile iteration for the quick delivery of minimal viable product, also known as MVP. And finally, it enables a refine, repeat, adapt approach, resulting in a better product for all at a lesser cost. Now let's have a look at your product journey. There are 4 steps. I'll detail in the rest of this session, and it will illustrate the top-down strategy we've seen earlier. First, the idea, then the proof of concept, then the part where you create your product or template or reference design, framework or app, and the last part, the sell, repurpose, and sell again. Step 1, the idea. When you start working, make sure your product first seems broadly, quickly, and easily achievable with Intuiface. For instance, a video wall, lift and learn, audience measurement, etc. Avoid very specific niche apps because you want to come up with something reusable. Make sure the product is tied to your expertise and leverage your strengths. You know what your target market needs. So have your product based on these needs, therefore encoding your knowledge. Next, be sure to construct your product using existing assets such as hardware, software, such as APIs, CMS, or a previous experience. And finally, your product can be inspired by or even copied from an existing Intuiface sample or reference design, as we are going to see now with a real-life example. Let's have a look at how you can be inspired by an Intuiface project. This reference design page from our website is showing how an audience can use personal mobile devices to submit data to a running Intuiface experience. As you can see, we explore different scenarios, explain the objective, and among several other resources, we provide a comprehensive workflow diagram. Let's zoom on this one. As you can see on top, a standard home scene leading to the 3 scenarios, and on the bottom right, the one that inspired one of partners, the multiple field form scenario. This one is achieved through Intuiface communicating with the third-party service Airtable. Now let's see how the company Redmino has been inspired by this reference design. Here we go. The experience you see is a check-in kiosk. And as you can see here, it's built based on our reference design using Airtable with Intuiface. That's one way to be inspired by Intuiface project to create your product. Let's get to the next step now. Now, second step in the product journey, the proof of concept part. First, fail early, fail fast, and fail forward. As this well-known advice explains, it's important to find what works and what doesn't. With the power of Intuiface, you can iterate quickly, finding the proper components and structure for your product without spending hours coding or waiting for someone to code for you. Then iterate with the market. Your market is a living body, and as new trends arise, you have the tools to cope with it. One eye on the market, the other on the Intuiface Composer. Actually, that's what happened when we repurposed our multi-mode reference design experience into an air gesture version to deal with COVID-based touch concerns, as I'll show you on next screen. Finally, test often and test wisely. When building your product in Composer, you can test in one click, simulating a deployment. However, don't underestimate the importance of hardware. If you plan to release your product for a specific set of devices, be sure to test on similar target devices. Now, let's check what iterates with the market means. I'm sure some of you have heard about the COVID. Based on this new situation, we decided to create an experience that could be controlled, of course, by classical touch interaction, but also through voice or using your smartphone. And we finally delivered a fully documented reference design called Multimode Interaction. This was already an iteration of a standard recommendation kiosk itself, but we decided to iterate again. Let's see how. With the COVID situation getting persistent, people didn't want to touch screen or couldn't speak easily through their mask. Market evolves, and so we do. So we added an air gesture sensor from Nextmosphere, and in a very short time we repurposed the initial experience into a touchless version. No voice, no touch, just wave your hand in the air. Everyone is now safe and happy. Now, let's jump to the next step. So we have the idea, we know it will rock. Let's head for the third step, the creation of your product. First, finalize your experience because you want it to look like a product. Your MVP should be long gone by now, and you're going to sell the real thing, not an half-baked test. Then call your colleagues in graphic design and marketing, assuming that's not also you. This is deeply tied to the previous point. Design creativity is required. You don't want to sell an overly bland, generic, or cookie-cutter product. Forget the default interface design and put some extra work on it so it stands out from the crowd. And as it's crucial to plan how you are going to promote your product, don't forget to put marketing in the loop as early as you can. Next step, the sales aspect. Now that your product is soon to be born, the necessary next question is how to sell it. That's where you're going to work on with your sales team. A quick list of questions you want to answer before releasing. What will be the pricing? Will it be subscription based? Will it be part of a services bundle? Will you have partner companies added to the product? Will maintenance be included? These are questions you want to ask and answer before going further. Finally, cherry on top, analytics. Intuiface is packed with a very powerful analytics platform. It's a very profitable service opportunity and it's so efficient and simple to set up that promoting this feature will already make your product unique. It's literally a killer feature for free that few competitors can come close to offering. Okay, let's have a look at what a product built on Intuiface looks like. What you can see here is a dedicated page from our website for the audience analytics bundle we created with our partner Sitecorp. This is a genuine product. To start, we explain the product itself, then show a marketing-oriented video, and after this, list key features and explain how it works. Then we provide a detailed list of what's in the bundle, Deep Site Toolkit from our Sitecore partner, an Intuiface player license, Intuiface Analytics, a ready-to-use experience with a video demonstration, and finally, a pre-built analytics dashboard. Remember, cherry on top. And of course, in the end, display a nice call to action for your customers to buy it in one click. That's how your product could look like. Now, let's jump to the last step. Finally, the last part of your product journey, selling and selling again. First, promote your product. It's real, so consider a dedicated web page with an explanation about how it works and complement with social media communication. Then, target customers with similar needs or projects. Do all that inbound marketing Geoff spoke about earlier. Don't forget, you can easily adapt, rebrand, and repurpose, and invest in graphic design to convey a sense of uniqueness. And to wrap it up, don't forbid yourself to enhance your product for a new customer as it will benefit future clients and yourself. Now, let's have a look where this journey can lead you through real-life examples. In this use case, the product we built at Intuiface is the entrance flow management one. It all started because of the COVID situation. We detected a need on the market and decided to provide an experience allowing to manage a building or shop capacity by counting people in it. The first proof of concept was done quickly, a couple of days, and later, iterating, we decided to go with a clicker or smartphone manipulated by someone at the door entrance to do the counting. As you can see, most of it is already there. No graphic design, of course, no reviewed content, but hey, it was working. That's the point of a proof of concept. After several iterations, refining, and a few weeks later, we were able to deliver a first polished version on the marketplace, available for all and working nicely. Simultaneously, we provided a full documented reference design and hosted a webinar on this specific use case. And finally, we concluded some joint operations with partners, like this bundle with Seneca and LG, or this other one, after iterating again with SharpNeck and Nexmosphere. But enough with Intuiface products. Let's have a look at one of our partners, Lumenday, a platinum expert that shows here how you can easily reuse components for your product. In that case, for a point-of-sale kiosk, adapted to 3 different brands. The first one is Famous Dave's, a chain of barbecue restaurants. The second one is Dip Dip Dip, an ice cream restaurant. And the third one, Dunkin' Donuts, a coffee and donut company. It seems we have a full meal here. Congratulations to Limende. And let's see the last one. Last but not least, some product samples from another platinum creative expert, Tosolini Productions. They shared with us 3 experiences, all for their client Microsoft and based on a wayfinding scenario. As you are going to see, Paolo Tosolini didn't forbid himself to enhance his product over the years. The first one was for an event in Barcelona a few years ago. Then later, the product was refined for another event in Hanover, and the last version for the NRF trade show last year in New York. Bravissimo, Signor Tosolini. That was a perfect use case to conclude this session. This wrap it up. Thank you very much for your attention. Now let's head for the live Q&A. Bye-bye.